Good afternoon, traders and investors. Will back here with another one. Hope everybody had a beautiful long weekend for Thanksgiving. Apologies, guys, for no video yesterday. I was with the family for Thanksgiving. Hope you guys had a beautiful time as well. And now we're checking in Tuesday here with another green day on the markets. Yesterday was green as well. And we continue our little push up here on the indexes, guys. So as you can see across the board, another green day in the markets. Still very well underway on this daily bounce. So as usual, we're going to take a look at our major indexes today, take a look at our major tech names, and lastly, my portfolio. Bit of a light week for me as I wasn't here yesterday to start a few positions. Only open one today, as a matter of fact, as well here. Keep an eye, it is CPI week as well, Thursday, so I will be going pretty light until we get that final confirmation here that inflation is coming down lower as a result of the Fed's increased interest rate policy. So without further ado, guys, let's get right into it. Yeah, SPY up 0.52% for the day, QQQ up 0.55%, and the rest of the market green. Take a look here on the heat map. You will see most of our names here were green on the market. Just a few little pullbacks by some major tech names, but nothing too major here. And on the one-day relative performance, guys, you can see that all sectors beautifully in the green, which leads us into our 1 week performance as well. Everything in the green, very, very nice recovering, really starting to claw back a lot of these nasty September drawdowns, right? So let's look at how the markets look like. Gonna take a quick peek at the fear and greed index, guys. You can see that we are still fear bound in the market here. Still some very, very good dip opportunities across the board here. So I will be still looking to take advantage of any dips in the market on names that I do love here. So we're going to cover that right away, guys. So let's do some technical analysis on the major indexes here. You can see that our main daily bounces are still underway. So we are trying on SPY to reverse into a daily uptrend here. This is a nice daily bounce. This is step one. As I'll remind you guys, we need to confirm the daily uptrend here. So with the size of this move now, the daily bulls engulfing our previous leg down need to see them set the higher low. Anything in relation to 420 will be that for the daily uptrend reversal here. That will really consolidate the fact that we have a nice weekly bounce undergoing here. It may look like a nice weekly bounce here, but at any moment, guys, if the bears roll over too much, this will just be a continuation of your weekly downtrend here. So I need to see the bulls set the daily uptrend here and really start clawing back, guys, all the way back into the 445 area. But I do like the size of this bounce. Bulls have created a lot of space to make that happen here. And the rest of our sectors are participating. Got some good participation from financials and healthcare. So we'll see if we can push this through here. But our lead bull is definitely QQQ. QQQ ahead of everybody here, setting the daily uptrend already, right? So this is what I need to see on SPY. QQQ has done it already. Daily uptrend is set at this point. Any pullback on QQQ, now that we're above the moving averages too, any pullback here above 354 is just going to be for a new daily high or low for further continuation of the upside. And look at this. This whole area here, right? Similar to SPY, the area that you want to get back into is this guy right here. On QQQ, we are already back up here, guys. So I really love to see it. And you'll see on the weekly, this looks very, very, very good. Even on the weekly here, with this weekly leg up, we have created a bunch of space now that in the event we do pull back, we can set a weekly high or low into November perhaps, and really set this weekly uptrend in motion if we don't manage to V-shape it right away here. So QQQ with a couple of options. Got the V-shape on the table, and you also have the two-step on the table as well here, with bulls performing very, very, very well. A lot of good recovery here in our major tech names here, right? So very good bounce, but still need to see them continue this daily uptrend to the upside here. No red flags. QQQ's created a lot of space. It is our lead bull in the markets. Financials not looking as healthy, guys. You can see that although we have captured most of this most recent downtrend here, right? So put the fib on this, guys. It's going to look very good in terms of percentages. Over 80% of the down move clawed back by the bulls. Now, what we need to do, need to get step number 2, similar to SPY, need to set the daily uptrend going here. If not, it is still technically a daily downtrend for the bears, right? Daily downtrend potential continuation here, unless the bulls say no and reverse this. Got some nice little juicy bounce here off of our RSI oversold lows. Need to see that persist. So as soon as this one daily leg tapers off here, right? 5 days of upside, we will need to set the daily high or low. Anything pretty much above 3220 is going to be for that set. and then going to look to the upside, guys. If we can get back above our 33.70, 34 area, guys, going to be looking very good for financials here to potentially reverse a lot more of this weekly move to the downside. Still, keep in mind, we are in a weekly downtrend here, so the bears are not out of the water yet, right? They still have some space. But in the event we do pull back, guys, you guys know on the channel, I've said it before, anything down from 32 down to 30 area is my sweet spot for picking up a lot of financials names. My favorite financial name, I will remind you, Charles Schwab. Charles Schwab still near our lows here, still near the $50 low. So I will be writing some options this week, most likely here. Didn't find some good premium on the contracts today here, but I will be looking in the $50 range for the rest of the week, especially if tomorrow we do open slightly red here. Now let's move on to our healthcare sector. Healthcare putting in a heck of a bounce, guys. This is exactly what I wanted to see right off our reaction zone, right? So we've been calling out this area for a while, the 127. Why? Because on the monthly, this has been the reaction zone for the longest time. As a matter of fact, for the better part of the last 2 years, every time we pull back in here, you usually get some sort of buying, and the buying pressure was no stranger to the bulls here. So they did get it done in a beautiful fashion here. You can see that we've recaptured from this most recent leg down here, right? This entire leg down, we've recaptured over 80%. So the bulls really setting themselves up nicely, guys, for the daily trend change. But similar to SPY, similar to financials, this is step one. I need to see step two to be convinced that your weekly move is really, really well underway here. Get me back above the 132 area, back above the 132 moving averages here, and you'll be looking really good, guys. We are targeting our highs of 135 off of that move. So if we can confirm the daily uptrend going here, I do believe that the bulls will have some juice to really push back in to this whole area here and really get some of our longer term bulls biting as well on a lot of names that have been sold off in healthcare, right? I'll remind you, AbbVie not performing too badly, but still relatively muted here. You do have other names, other big names in healthcare like Charles River. Charles River still at the lows here, still has not caught a bid yet, right? And we do have also Abbott Labs, right? Abbott Labs is another big player, still near the lows here, bouncing off our support area. But a lot of these big names, guys, right? You'll see here in healthcare, right? So a lot of these big names, you have AbbVie up here, right? Johnson & Johnson, Eli Lilly has been an outperformer in healthcare, right? Very high outperformer here, but names like Johnson & Johnson, right? Still relatively down off of their most recent move here. And also names like Pfizer. Pfizer also still hasn't recovered. So it's not broad market participation within the healthcare sector, right? It's only a few names that are really bringing this market up. I need to see a lot of the other names starting to come alive here off of this secondary move and start to see big institutional players start to rotate a lot of that capital into healthcare, but satisfied with the move so far. Now, IWM Russell, one of our weaker bulls, to say the least here, reacting nicely off of our zone. We were always targeting this zone. You remember me saying this entire drop, where's the support going to come in? This green box, 170 down to 165. It's been support for the better part of the last year, right? Year and a half, pretty much. So normal that we do get a reaction into there. So some heavy buying coming off of here, right? And we have captured a good portion of this move, right? Put the fib on this as well. You'll see that even here, we've captured pretty much almost 80% of the move. So good. 80% bounces on a lot of these indexes, but step one is complete. Need to see step two. Give me the daily uptrend. Have not had a confirmed daily uptrend, guys, since this one pretty much back here, right? All the way since August. We've been on a constant daily downtrend ever since then. So I need to see the bulls start to recapture these daily timeframes, and then your weekly bounce will be likely underway here. Need to see the weekly at that point get all the way up to 182, 183, and then we'll have some good spacing here to also perhaps reset the weekly uptrend in motion, as it's been a weekly downtrend here ever since the end of July, right? So good move on our small cap names here. But if for any which reason we do start pulling back lower here, I will be fishing. If we pull back lower in this area, I will be fishing for the 168, 170 short puts here to try and start a few positions. Now, moving on to the Dow Jones. Dow Jones, very good bounce as well, guys. So step one is complete, as with a lot of these names. Very good bounce, taking back the entire part of this most recent second leg down, right? So you love to see the engulfing moves like that. Bulls have created a lot of space. Anything above 32,900 pretty much will just be for your daily high or low for a daily trend reversal here. Very, very important because this is also a big area of weekly support and very big area of monthly support as well. So we were expecting some bulls to come in there. They did come in exactly as expected in my little area here. That is step one. Need to see them follow through with step two, but a lot of very decent value names, guys, with some big sell-offs recently that you can take advantage of. I took advantage myself of the Coca-Cola dip, right? You can see that Pepsi as well. Pepsi has not been spared most recently, even though they had very good earnings. So a lot of these companies, guys, are off their highs, right? Off their highs a considerable amount. John Deere is another one, right? Right, coming down at these lows here, right? I did that top 10 value name video, right? SPGI as well is trading into kind of a somewhat of a low down here, right? So there's a lot of Dow Jones names, guys, a lot of value names that are ripe for the picking, in my opinion. So if you do get another little dip here, will be very juicy, in my opinion, to be able to write some options on these value names before the bulls attempt for the trend change here. Now, let's get into our big tech names right away. So starting off with Apple here. So Apple, very good recovery on Apple. Look at this beautiful recovery. We've now recaptured almost this entire daily downtrend in one single move. Apple bulls have still not set the daily uptrend. Need to see them retrace a little bit, potentially tap the 174, 175 area, and then really launch for a second leg. Your daily uptrend will be confirmed at that point. Once the daily uptrend confirms, you can really get a sense of how high they're going to start to bounce on the weekly. If they bounce all the way up to 185, guys, can set themselves up very nicely for the weekly trend change into the remainder of the year. The thing about reversing these weekly timeframes though, right? Weekly downtrend, it takes time, guys. These are weekly candles, right? So it does take time to reverse them, but the daily is a very good start, right? We're now above our moving averages here. So I will be looking to pick up some Apple. If we continue to dip, set the daily high or low, we'll be looking for that to potentially launch into a new daily uptrend here. Apple at a very juicy level here. Great performance by the bulls. Just need to see them set our second leg of the daily uptrend in motion. But I still like this area, guys. Not for nothing that I picked this area. Look, the bears were unable to break through. Briefly coming down below here, the 168 mark. But as a whole, bulls putting up some very good support ever since August, guys. This area has been a hot spot for bull dip buying. Love to see it. Now, AMD, one of our best bull recovery stories so far, if I do say so myself. Daily uptrend is set. We've come all the way back up into the 110 area, which is the area that I was targeting before. Why? Because on the weekly, this is a very crucial spot. This is a weekly downtrend. Look, this is leg number 3 that we just had, right? And now off this leg number 3, bulls have recaptured almost the entire move, V-shaping this move. So they've set themselves up beautifully when this move tops out for the weekly trend change here. Weekly trend change will mean that your monthly low is set here at around $95 for potential monthly trend continuation. That is a big cornerstone for AMD if they can get that done. We've been waiting for it, guys, for like 3 months at this point. Love to see it. So if AMD does pull back here for any which reason over the next few days, maybe with CPI into the lower 105 area, I will be looking to nibble some options here from 105 all the way down to 100 because I do believe this bull move is real. AMD's financials and balance sheet are looking absolutely great. Their growth forecast is looking absolutely great as well. And I do think that they are one of the better valued semiconductor plays in the entire market right now. So great job by the bulls of really launching off of our lows here, creating a ton of space. Anything above 99 at this point, guys, gonna be for a daily high or low for daily uptrend continuation here. Beautiful job by the bulls on AMD, if I do say so myself. So this area now, the whole like 105, 104, pretty much, let's call it, down to 100, looking like a very sweet spot for me to be writing some options in the next few days and few weeks. Now, let's move on to Amazon. Amazon still caught on our low area here, but that's okay, guys. Amazon has come down a ton here, but I like to see the bulls putting on the air brakes down in this lower 124 area. I did play this area a few times on Amazon in the past 2 weeks, and it has played out absolutely beautifully, right? So it's been a very big area of contention since all the way back here in July and August, and it has upheld very decently. If for any which reason we continue plunging on Amazon here, you guys know very well that for the longest time, my sweet spot has been in the 120 down to pretty much 110 range. So I will be looking to play more Amazon options should we drop into there. But bulls putting in a good little recovery here, still somewhat of a tightening range on the bottom. They did it slightly today, guys, but I need to see a break of 131. Give me a break of 131. Your daily uptrend will be set. It will be joining a lot of other names in the daily uptrend. And at that point, you can say that your weekly bounce is underway here. Amazon, keep in mind, they did lose the weekly uptrend, but they never set the weekly downtrend. So They can just either V-shape this if they want, if they have the power to do it, or they can two-step this into the tail end of the year. I do think that Amazon, as per usual, their quarterly earnings in Q3 in October should be pretty good. And everybody knows Q4 is the best quarter for Amazon anyway, so I do expect very good things out of them for the rest of the year. But just keep in mind, guys, anything below 125, I am definitely a buyer of Amazon in the form of writing put options. Daily trend change almost done here, guys. So need to get back above 131 and close there for me to really get a confidence behind this name that the daily uptrend is resumed. Start filling some of this little gap here, right, all the way up to 135, and then should be a very beautiful recovery for Amazon as well. No red flags on this name whatsoever. Now let's move down to Google. So Google performing one of our best bulls, guys. I mean, look, Google had never set the daily uptrend. They never even two-stepped it. They just straight engulfed. And that is a very rare move. You very rarely see it, especially off of a big drop like that, guys. Very rare to see a V-shaped recovery here. You lose the daily uptrend like this, straight up into a daily down move like this. Usually you would expect the bears to try and attempt, right? At least another leg down, never even got there. The bulls just absolutely clobbered this to the upside and now even making new 52-week highs here. But the only reason behind that, guys, is Google was one of our only names that never lost the weekly uptrend here, right? So beautiful performance by the bulls. As soon as this move does top out here, guys, we're looking for a daily high or low. Anything above 128 will be a daily high or low on Google. Tons of space, one of our most bullish tech names per se, right, as a whole. So going to be looking for this little dip here. Google slightly high for me, but in the grand scheme of things and their growth of the next 5 years, not a bad buy in my opinion, just not juicy enough for me to continue to add long-term shares to my portfolio here or to be writing options. I'm more of a more sub 125 down to 120 range. Super sweet, juicy spot is 120 down to 115, but very, very unlikely that we do get that if Google's performance continues here. Keep in mind that they do have earnings here coming up in 2 weeks, so we'll see how they perform with that, but beautiful move by Google. Any single dip here is going to be for a daily high or low, and then the bulls are most likely going to be able to continue this uptrend, no problem here. And even if they do somehow struggle, right, they have a very, very wide area here that they can work with here to even come into a tightening range, potentially accumulate. Going to take the bears a ton of work if they want to reverse this here, guys, right? Or very bad macro, but not looking likely. No red flags on Google. Now let's move down to Meta. Meta, look at these past 3 days on Meta, guys, leaving me almost speechless, right? So for the longest time, they struggled in this whole 300 to 310 area, right? Very, very wide range. We were looking for the daily trend change, couldn't do it, tried it one more time, and then boom, ever since Friday, they absolutely got it here. So daily trend change is underway here, guys. Now at this point, anything above 298.50 is just gonna be for your daily high or low. Keep an eye, guys, this whole area now, right? 307 to 310 is gonna be some very good support for the bulls to come and sit back on. We also have our moving averages here. So a lot of confluence, this area, beautiful area of confluence, support, gonna be very nice for the bulls here to come back and sit on. As soon as this move tops out here, most likely coming to a top out now with our previous 52-week high resistance here. So as soon as it does top out, gonna be looking for the daily high or low for trend continuation here. And on the weekly uptrend, Meta, our first tech name with the weekly uptrend confirmation after all of this negativity, right? Now, Apple didn't do it, AMD didn't do it. Google never lost the weekly uptrend, but this is one where you had a slight hesitation, potential loss of the weekly, and bulls said, nope, we're just gonna do this in 2 steps. We're gonna recapture our weekly uptrend here. Beautiful defense of the 12 EMA, which is this yellow line right here. So Meta bulls coming out strong, no red flags on Meta. I'm expecting the daily high or low. Too rich for me to be adding at this position, guys. I was more looking for options below pretty much 280. Never got them, but pretty happy that to just maintain long-term shares in this position here. A bit too high for me to add right now. Now let's move on to Microsoft. Microsoft, very solid recovery here by Microsoft, guys. Daily uptrend is set since Friday here. So beautiful move by Microsoft. Cheeky little daily uptrend set here off the lows. Usually you'd want to see them bounce a bit higher and set it up here. Microsoft set the daily uptrend at the lows pretty much. Bulls said nope, and they ran with it here. So very, very good recovery by Microsoft here. Daily uptrend confirmed. You have to look higher to the weekly. So now they're clawing back on the weekly, right? Weekly move down. We'll see how much they've recaptured. Over your 618 golden ratio level, right? So it means the bulls have recaptured 62% of this downswing, which means they've set themselves up potentially when this move tops out for the weekly trend change into the rest of the year. Keep in mind, it is the weekly, so it does take some time. They have a shot to V-shape this, guys. The V-shape is not out of the question. It's usually probabilities wise, it's unlikely. That's why I always, take for granted that they're going to do it in 2 steps, but they could just pull the Google and just completely V-shape this, right? Or just like Meta did as well, right, recently. So we're going to see how high they can get here, but obviously Microsoft covering some very beautiful ground. Any dip here above 311 is just going to be for your higher low above the moving averages at this point, right? So very, very nice move on Microsoft. Kind of disappointed I didn't get to write some options in my sweet spot here, but that's okay, guys. If we do dip a little bit, I make it cheeky and target our lows here. 310 down to 315 would be a good buy location for me. I do believe that Microsoft is going to deliver some pretty good earnings here. They never really miss earnings, even though they may not outperform on earnings much. It's very, very rare for Microsoft to miss earnings per se in a very bad way. So I think they'll be positioned very well for these Q3 earnings and for the rest of Q4 into the end of the year here. Microsoft, they're doing very, very well. So we'll see how much can they come up against our previous weekly lower high here. If we get all the way up here, guys, weekly uptrend looking very, very likely on Microsoft. Now let's move down to NVIDIA. NVIDIA performing very, very well, guys. Can't take away anything from that. They've done a beautiful job of bouncing off the lows here. So your daily uptrend continues here just into the high 460 range. That's exactly where I wanted to see them get. Why? Because it's pretty much half of the weekly move down, right? Put the fib on this and you can see that the bulls have now recaptured pretty much 50% of this move down. So setting themselves up nicely here for a potential 2-step. It is NVIDIA, however. If they want to V-shape this, they can probably V-shape this. It's NVIDIA, right? But if they need to 2-step, they've created some good space to set the potential weekly resumption here of the uptrend here. Very, very good space by the bulls here. Anything above pretty much 432, going to be looking for a daily higher low above the moving averages now, right? We were kind of struggling with them for a while, but finally above them after being below them since pretty much early September, right? So very good move by the bulls, creating some good space off of your weekly lows here. No longer in jeopardy, in my opinion, of really a bear flush of your weekly lows and losing that here. Pretty much looking like some monthly consolidation at the tops here. Bulls not wanting to give back too much of anything on NVIDIA. And that's very possibly because with their up guidance and their up revenue that they're supposed to deliver in the next 2-3 years here, NVIDIA's forward PE ratio is not as high as people think. It's high this year in a retroactive sense of things. It's at 110 for the current year, but with their future guidance on EPS, guys, next year's PE, I think is about 29 or 30. And the year after, I think it's like 26. So it's not that high as you guys may think. It looks high, but once you dig into it, guys, it's not as high as you think. So very good performance on NVIDIA. Stock price, bit too high for me currently. I much prefer AMD or a name like TSM for really that nice semiconductor recovery here. Now let's move on to Tesla. Tesla putting in a very good move here, topping out towards the end of the day here, clapped 268, clipped 268 level here. So very good recovery by Tesla in relation to this most recent move down here, right? So recapturing a lot of the move. That's a weekly move that we'll be looking into a bit. But the daily uptrend on Tesla is now started very, very well underway here. Anything above 242 is just going to be looking for a higher low above your moving averages here, right? So any pullback here on Tesla down to the 250s will be for dip buying. I will be looking for some options on Tesla, in this case, in 240 all the way down to the 230 range. If for whatever which reason we dip hard on one morning, I will be opening a few options contracts on Tesla. I do still have one in my main portfolio here. We have a lot of Tesla shares, even that we're just riding for the long term here. So I'm not very greedy on Tesla, just looking for a slight pullback, but bulls now in full control of this daily. And on the weekly, guys, you can see weekly still in a bit of a tightening range here, but if the bulls manage to get back up to 278, guys, and crack this, it'll be a new weekly uptrend. So you see they lost the weekly uptrend here by flushing this low right here, lost it. We've been looking to regain this weekly uptrend. And look how long these weekly patterns take to play out, right? Since July have we had the chance to set the weekly uptrend once more here. Keep in mind, earnings on Tesla are next week, pretty much on Wednesday. So it's very possible it just kind of stays muted without really flushing a low or flushing a high. You might just stay within this range right here and kind of squiggle around here until earnings. But if they do smash with earnings, guys, Keep in mind, Tesla earnings may be not that great because they did deliver subpar deliveries numbers here. So it's all going to be on margins and EPS. Those are going to be the key factors on earnings here. So we will look, guys, now that we're in the in-between area for the earnings, we're going to be looking at our weekly lows, 235, and to our weekly highs, 279. Whichever one Tesla breaks, if they break it to the downside, it'll be weekly downtrend confirmed at this point, but not so much of a biggie. We'll be coming back to my sweet spot. But if we crack this, guys, it'll be weekly uptrend confirmed here, and your monthly lows will most likely be set on Tesla for the future here. So looking good. Palantir, substantial move off the lows, guys. I'll be the first to say I was not expecting this from Palantir whatsoever here. They were struggling so hard in this whole area, but recovering beautifully now. Daily uptrend more than set. So much space, guys, anything above 1485 just for your daily high or low here. So tons of space to pull down. Moving averages are down here. And now you have a bunch of previous resistance that will be acting as support down here in the 1650 area. That will be the area that I would be targeting here for a little cheeky bounce and trend resumption to the upside. But Palantir looking very, very, very good on the weekly as well. Weekly is just blasting off. New weekly uptrend is set by the bulls here, looking very, very, very good. Earnings still a while away back in November here. But on the monthly even looking like the monthly bottom is in here. And Palantir looks like it does want to go for more. I'll remind you guys that Palantir is potentially in the list of inclusion for S&P 500, right? So if they get included in the S&P 500 by delivering 2 more quarters of positive net income and positive EPS, they'll be considered for S&P inclusion, and that is one of the major catalysts that is still continuing to push this stock as institutions rotate into positioning for it for that same reason. So daily uptrend is set, very nice. Any single pullback here is for your daily high or low, and it wouldn't surprise me if they do get it, guys, and continue rising here. No red flags anymore on Palantir. Bulls creating a ton of space here. Sweet spot for me, however, was pretty much down here in the $12 to $11 range. I did say it on the channel. I do still have some pre-existing Palantir shares that I picked up all the way back here. So averaging up here is not my first priority here, but in the grand scheme of things, not that bad of a price in relation pretty much to their future expected growth. Now, PayPal. Lastly, PayPal staying pretty muted here, so not a lot to say on the price action. It is still in my sweet spot. I've continued to say that if we dip down into lower $55, $52 range, I will be averaging in some shares. But PayPal here just looking to break out here of this range. I need to see them crack $59.50, $60, and then you'll really have a shot of setting a new daily uptrend here and starting to take back a lot of this weekly move, because you can see that we are still in a weekly downtrend here. PayPal still in the bottoming process, looking fairly decent as we're not flushing here, but I need to see them participate more, especially when we get these big green days on the market, guys. I need to see PayPal put some form of trend reversal in, but for now, we're just not getting it. So very muted on the price action here. No real change pretty much since the past videos that I've put out. Still waiting for the daily breakout and daily trend change. And lastly, guys, my portfolio. So you can see after today's trading, guys, we are pretty much back up to around 32.5% on the year. So good performance in relation to SPY. SPY is only up pretty much 13%. So we got them beat there. And on the NASDAQ here, we are still outpacing the NASDAQ. We're up to about 32.5. And the NASDAQ after today's trading, probably about 30. So we are outpacing them by about 2.5%. You'll see on the positions, guys, not much to report for this week. I did open that UPS contract for pretty much this Friday. I opened that last Friday, right? So you see I got almost $1 for it. They're down to about 34 cents. The low today on the contract was about 25. So tomorrow, if it does pull down again here, UPS considerably off the 152.5 area. You'll see this right now. UPS now trading in the 155, 156 zone. So we'll see how it goes, guys. But if we get another green day tomorrow, I will maybe be looking to close this position, roll it into something else. And we did write an Apple put, Apple 175 for only 45 cents here, guys. I got to my computer kind of late in the day here after getting back from my cottage with my family pretty much. So guys, it was a very, very decent, play here. I do still like Apple in the 175 range here, but I'm just going to be looking today, guys. Today, the whole market was green, so I didn't really have an opportunity to write many positions because I prefer writing on red. Apple was one of our red names here. 175 is in my sweet spot, so I did take it here. So I'll be looking maybe for some AMD, for a couple other things, but you can see my Coca-Cola position is now coming back up fairly nicely here. We're in at 54.66, so we're going to be looking for the 55 calls. PayPal still chilling. TMF still down, 20-year yields, right? 3x leverage, still down on that. CSIQ had a very good rally day today, but still off my break-even cost. My break-even, I'll remind you guys, is about 28.30. So we're still not high enough to be able to write calls. I'd like to write calls towards the $29, $30 range. But some decent recovery here today. And that's pretty much it. My banking shares as well, getting a little bit of a bid here off the lows. You can see this is just a average weight banking ETF of the Canadian banks. And you can see Canadian banks are definitely in a buy zone here as we're pretty much back to 2020, early 2021 levels here. So very, very good discount, paying a very hefty yield, 8.62%, reinvesting on the monthlies. So very, very, very good. In my opinion. So not that much action on the portfolio. We'll be looking to build a bit more positions, but kind of got to be conservative, guys, because it is a CPI week. So I don't want to go too hard, right? So that's pretty much it for today's video, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I want to take some time to say I really appreciate all of your likes, the subscribes to the channel, guys, and your comments, engaging with me and everything. It really makes me happy as a content creator, guys. You know, I started this channel this year, and so far it's been very, very good, even though we don't have tens of thousands of subscribers, guys. I really love making these videos for you. So if you did enjoy it, please consider liking for the algorithm. Really helps me out. Consider subscribing to the channel if you like the video and if you like these daily market updates pretty much. And also, as always, if you have any questions, macro, options, stock picks, whatever you guys want, I'll give it to you in my perspective and what I would buy, right? Obviously, not financial advice. What I would do for myself and my own portfolio, and you do with that information as you wish. So without further ado, guys, that's been it for today's video. I love all you guys. Hope you guys had a great day trading and position yourselves for the week nicely. So take care, and I'll see you guys tomorrow after the close. Peace.